In a small village among green hills lived a young man named Adefemi. He worked very hard, but he was always poor. He had very little food for himself and his sick mother. Poverty was like a dark cloud over his life, making him sad and without hope. Adefemi watched his mother get weaker each day. He saw his younger brothers and sisters wearing old, torn clothes. He wanted to help them, but he couldn't. He tried everything, working harder, praying, and asking for help, but nothing changed. His land stayed dry, and his family stayed hungry. People in the village whispered about old spirits and secret paths in the nearby forbidden forest. They said these paths could give great power but at a terrible price. Adefemi used to think these were just children's stories. But as he lost all hope, the forbidden forest started to call to him. One night, when there was no moon, Adefemi felt so desperate that he became brave. He decided to go into the forest, hoping to find a way to change his life. Adefemi walked deep into the dark forbidden forest. The old trees were so thick that he couldn't see the stars. The air felt heavy and strange. He walked until he reached an open space that glowed with a strange, soft light. There, on a big, old tree root, sat a strange being. It was Ijapa, the trickster spirit, known for being smart but also tricky. Ijapa's eyes were ancient and seemed to look right into Adefemi's heart. Ijapa just watched Adefemi at first. Adefemi, full of sadness and worry, finally spoke. He told Ijapa all his problems, his mother's sickness, his poverty, and his strong wish for a better life. He wanted money, power, and to help his family and village. Ijapa's voice was like dry leaves rustling. "You want riches, young Adefemi?" the spirit asked. "Lots of gold? Power that everyone respects?" Adefemi nodded, full of hope and a little fear. "I can give you all of this," Ijapa said. "Your fields will grow rich crops, your animals will multiply, and gold will come to you." Adefemi's heart beat fast. It sounded too good to be true. "What must I give?" he asked. Ijapa smiled a little, a knowing smile. "The cost is a small part, Adefemi. A tiny piece of your spirit. Your true joy, your care for others, and your ability to feel real love. You will have all the riches, but joy will feel empty, laughter will sound hollow, and real love will never be yours." Adefemi thought hard. A cold feeling ran through him. But he thought of his sick mother and his hungry family. What was a small part of his spirit compared to a full belly and a healthy mother? Blinded by his needs, Adefemi nodded. "I accept," he whispered. As he spoke, a freezing cold feeling spread through his body. Ijapa smiled that old, knowing smile, then disappeared into the forest's shadows. Adefemi stood alone, the forest silent, feeling the heavy weight of his choice. The very next morning, Adefemi woke up to an amazing sight. His small, dirt hut, which was once empty, now shone with gold. Coins lay everywhere, and beautiful golden pots and carvings were on the walls. He rushed outside to see his fields full of healthy crops, and his few animals had grown into a big, strong herd. The bargain was true. Adefemi became the richest man the village had ever seen. He built a grand house, bigger and more beautiful than the chief's. He wore the finest clothes and ate the best foods. His mother got well, and her eyes looked brighter, though sometimes a quiet sadness showed when she looked at Adefemi. Adefemi kept his promise to himself. He was generous. He built new water wells for the village, paid for a new school, and helped those in need. He was a hero to everyone. At first, the villagers loved him and praised him. But as time passed, their feelings changed. Their admiration turned into envy, then into an uneasy feeling. People couldn't say why, but Adefemi seemed different. His laughter didn't reach his eyes. His touch felt cold. There was an empty feeling about him that people noticed, even if they didn't understand it. Adefemi enjoyed his riches. He bought everything he wanted, hosted big parties, and traveled to faraway lands. But with each new thing he got, a deep emptiness grew inside him. The best food tasted plain, the most beautiful music sounded dull, and even loud laughter didn't make him truly happy. The part of his spirit that Ijapa took left a constant, aching emptiness. He tried to find love, hoping it would fill the empty space. He married Adesewa, the most beautiful and kind woman in the village. He gave her many gifts and built her a palace. But when he looked at her, he felt nothing. No warmth, no love. His touch was empty, and his words of love felt fake. Adesewa felt this deep emotional hole and slowly pulled away from him. Their grand home became a beautiful prison, filled with quiet sadness. His old friends, who once came to him for help, found it hard to be around him. His fake smiles, his empty stares, and his endless desire for more, without truly enjoying anything, pushed them away. They saw a man rich in money but poor in spirit. Even his mother, now healthy, looked at him with a sad gaze that showed her worry. Adefemi was alone because of his wealth. He was surrounded by riches but felt completely by himself. He couldn't sleep at night. His grand house felt silent and empty, making the nothingness inside him feel even bigger. He had nightmares of endless cold and empty laughter. He was like a king with a crown, but his heart felt hollow. He kept wanting more, but he could never be truly happy. The real terrible price of his deal started to show, not just in his own life, but in the village. A bad drought came, drying up crops and wells. Then, a terrible sickness followed, killing many people. Adefemi, with all his money, couldn't stop these problems. His gold couldn't make it rain or cure the sick. He tried to help by giving money, but the villagers, who now felt his emptiness, didn't trust him or didn't care. His wealth, once a sign of his success, now just showed how truly helpless he was. Then came the worst blow. His mother, the very reason he made the deal, got very sick again. This time, as Adefemi stood by her bed, watching her suffer, he felt nothing. No fear, no deep sadness, no real pain of losing her. Just a cold thought that his mother was unwell. This moment hit him hard, like a flash of lightning. The fragment Ijapa took was his ability to love, to care, to be truly human. He looked at himself in a mirror, and for the first time, he truly saw himself, a stranger with cold, dead eyes. Adesewa, unable to live with such a lack of feeling, left him. She packed her things, her heart heavy with a sadness that Adefemi, strangely, could not understand. He watched her go, a deep emptiness echoing in his large house. His money, once a shining promise, now felt like heavy chains, tying him to a lonely life with no joy. He was the richest man, but he had paid a terrible price. He was truly alone, haunted by the shadow of what he had become. Broken and completely lost, Adefemi no longer wanted more riches. He only wanted what he had carelessly given away. He went back to the forbidden forest, not to demand, but to beg, hoping to get back the lost part of his soul. He found Ijapa in the same clearing, looking the same as always. "You want back what you traded, Adefemi?" Ijapa's voice was dry. "A soul cannot be traded back, Adefemi. It cannot be given back like a coin. A soul can only be given anew." These words hit Adefemi deeply. He understood then that there was no easy way to fix things. The way to heal was not to get back what he lost, but to build something new from his pain. Adefemi began to give, not to get anything, but just to give. He used his remaining money to truly help the village, to rebuild what was lost, to care for the sick, and to feed the hungry. He worked with the villagers, his hands rough, his body tired. But for the first time in years, he felt a small flicker of something real. He didn't want praise or thanks, he was just trying to put back together the broken pieces of his own spirit. Slowly, like new plants growing after a long dry season, a faint warmth began to return to Adefemi's empty heart. He never got back the happy joy of his younger days, and his laughter never quite reached his eyes the same way. But he found a different kind of peace, a quiet contentment that came from helping others. The shine of gold had gone, but the rich feeling of purpose, of real connection to his community, slowly filled the emptiness. Adefemi learned, from his great suffering, that true wealth is not in money, but in the priceless treasures of the human spirit, caring for others, making connections, and giving without expecting anything back. And though the marks of his old bargain remained, they reminded him of the huge cost of wanting riches more than his own soul. What would you trade for riches? Adefemi's journey reminds us that not all that glitters is gold, and the price of losing yourself is far greater than poverty. If you were in his shoes, would you make the same choice? Let us know in the comments. Like if the story moved you. Share with someone chasing wealth without wisdom. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful African tales that stir the soul.